Hey everybody, how's it going? So today we're going to be working on my 95. Yeah, my 95 F150. As you can see, we got the bed off of it and everything. Got to getting everything prepped to put in the notch and everything in the bed. I took it off just so it'd be easier to get to everything. Plus I got some other stuff I got to do to the bed, whatever. But this video is for a lot of people who kept asking me how my truck was built. Of course, I didn't have any pictures of this when I built the truck, because as soon as we got the bed on it, we just kind of rolled with it. So this is the rear hump or whatever of the Crown Victoria frame, and these are braces that go from the cross member in the back side of the cab that hold the back of the cab up, right? And it braces from that to this. Now you have to have that because the Crown Victoria, which mine is, my brother's got mine at the moment, but I would have showed y'all, the Crown Victoria body adds a little bit of structure to the chassis. It helps a little bit. If you don't brace that like that, when you're going down the road, this truck will spring in the center. It'll bounce all over the freaking place. So that helps with bracing from there to there. And then when you put your cab and everything on, your cab braces it from that cross member right there to up here in the front, which is where the firewall of the Crown Victoria would be. So your cab acts as the brace from that cross member to the front right here, which is where the Crown Victoria would have braced in this area. So you have to have them right here. Otherwise, this thing will bounce like a big old spring. I've been trimming on some more of the fenders, or the inner fender wells or whatever. I've got a good section cut out. Now I'm pretty sure you're thinking like, okay, well that's kind of weird for a tub. I thought you were going to do, you know, like a little C-notch, whatever. Okay, I would have done a little trapezoid type thing or whatever in the back of this truck, but the bottom edges are curved and there's so many weird, unpredictable freaking lines, like from whatever this thing's got dual tanks or had dual tanks, like that little thing. It's not consistent with over here, and it just bugs me, frustrates me, whatever. I want to put a big rectangular notch in the bed. Now there's gonna be a ton of extra room here and here. What I'm thinking about doing is building me almost like a toolbox, but splitting it down the center. This side will be an actual like roadside kit toolbox or whatever, and then this side, mostly because it's closer to the driver's side or on the driver's side, a cooler. I'm gonna build me a cooler right here and put me a little drain in there so I can, you know, keep drinks in on road trips, and you know, we go up to Tennessee and all that. I've already got the you call it, angle iron or whatever. Got it off the Chevrolet. We got 40 foot right there, them two pieces. And I'd say that's another, I don't know, 15 foot, something like that. I don't know, 10 foot. I have no clue. I did end up cleaning up some more of the back of the frame or whatever. But I did say I was going to give y'all more of a walk around of this truck. I had to go, like I said, go do something. I used the truck to go grab something from the auto parts store and give it a good bath. As you can see, tank's clean. Everything else is nice and pretty. Alright, so I'm going to work my way back to front just because I'm already back here. As far as mounting the bed, I ran a bar between that frame rail and this frame rail. I think it's like 2-inch by 2-inch rectangular tubing from there to there, and then I took and made these little mounts on the back, little tabs to hold the two furthermost. Let's see if I can zoom in. Those little mounting holes, that one right there and that one over there. And then these braces that go from here to here, I made another tab right here on both sides, and those are the frontmost mountain bolts or mountain brackets or whatever for the bed. Don't use the center because of course I haven't gotten none of that yet. I might make a mount when I make the tub and everything. I might see if I can mount the bed using the old mounts or whatever from the Crown Victoria. We'll see how all that goes. Of course the compressor kicks on. But and then the cross member for the back of the cab. Basically, it's 2" by 3" steel tubing. Went up. There's a little, you see, there's a little angle on the inside of the frame rail. I basically went from there up next to the body mount, straight across, and then basically down on the other side, just the same exact way. And then of course you can see the body mount there and the other one over there, the bushings or whatever you want to call them. That's how I did the back of the cab. The front of the cab is going to be a little more difficult. If you give me just a second, I'll pop the hood. Alright, underneath the hood. As far as the front mounts, they're a lot harder to get to or see. So there's enough light in here. I don't know if y'all can see that. I can't really see what I'm doing with the phone. Yeah, whatever. Basically, it's a piece of 2" by 3" tubing that I re-supported or whatever. Drilled a hole through it, and then I just access the nut or whatever for that body bolt through that, and then it goes through that front cab mount. I did not use the Crown Victoria mounting pad or whatever, just because the cab mounts won't reach to it, and the cab mount for this is like directly in the floor, like in the floorboard. So I kind of had to work with what I got. That's that. Radiator support is another piece. I think that's a 3" by 3" piece of square tubing that I cut. It is hollow on the underside. If I can get, I can't. I'm too fat. But you can see, you know, it juts out from the frame. There's the body bushing for the radiator support. I am using the original. 1 second. That's better. I am using the original F150 radiator support. I had to cut the center out of it. As you can see, that might be better right there. See, I cut the center out of it because, you know, frame rail and then the radiator or whatever for the Crown Victoria, it supports itself with that bracket, the other bracket over there, and then there's like a metal bar that goes across. That's that as far as the radiator goes. And then the bumper, I've had people ask me about the bumper because they couldn't figure out how I got the front bumper or whatever on it, considering that you can buy brackets for these trucks to put the 08, the 010 or whatever F250 front bumper on it. Using the 2" by 3" tubing, I kind of cut it up into a couple different pieces and made these brackets right here. See, they just bolt to the bumper and its original mounting places, and then I had to make, using a piece of flat steel or bar steel, whatever the hell you want to call it, and attached it to the I guess the bash bar or whatever you want to call this, the front bumper mount for the Crown Victoria. I did reuse this originally. I cut it off because I didn't think I'd need it, but then when I cut the frame back to clear everything, I noticed that this still fit on. I just put it back on and welded it back on. Glad that I did, because now that can bolt onto it and some other good fun stuff. You will have to angle these because the curvature of the bumper, these do not mount like square, they mount like turned. So like, see how the bumper curves? You have to have the curve in the mount as well. So it's not square mount, square mount. That one's curved, so that one's side specific. This one's curved, this one's side specific. You just have to kind of, I really wish I would have videoed me building this truck. It would be so much easier to explain, but I'm not really great with making these videos, as y'all can tell. This bumper originally had like a lower lip. I cut that off just because I didn't like the look of it. Plus I plan to lower the front of this truck just a little bit more, and I didn't want it scraping. Plus I'm not going to I'm not putting an air dam underneath it just because the truck doesn't need it. But that's how it's mounted to the frame. You know, the cross member and everything, it kind of fit. I don't know what the offset my wheels are. I know somebody's going to ask me. I have no clue. All I know is they're 10 inches wide, and I got them, honestly I can't remember where I got these things. Probably a marketplace like the other car. But yeah, it's just kind of thrown together with the stuff I had laying around. I was able to reuse, you know, the factory F-150 booster and all that, but I had to make my own, you know, brake lines. There's my little, we call it proportioning valve, and then for the rear, because it's two separate lines right there, that little split block or three-way block, whatever you want to call it. I'll be making another video here in a little bit because I ordered, if you notice, you see how that's loose. That the 85 F150 steering column is wore out. Well, the bottom bearing or bushing is, and no one really sells a replacement factory one. But there's a company, I can't remember the name of it, that sells it's like a machined aluminum piece that slides up in there, and it uses the original 3 screws around this tube, the steering tube, and it has a pressed in sealed bearing. So, you know, waterproof, all that. I ain't gonna worry about water messing with it or whatever. And it'll be here probably in a week or something. I was hoping to be here today, but, you know, it's wishful thinking, whatever. But I'll make a video when I replace that. That's actually a cool thing. It's good for the 1980 all the way to 91 Ford truck. So even if you're not building a custom hot rod like this, and your steering's, you know, flopping all over the place like a limp pecker, then you can, you know, slap that on. It'll fix the you know, the slop or whatever in the steering column. I think I've covered everybody's questions. If I've missed anything, please, you know, ask me down in the comments or whatever. If you could, give me a follow, like, all that fun stuff, you know, whatever, so I can maybe start getting something from these videos other than documenting this. I try to give everybody, you know, what information they want about this thing, and, you know, in return, all I ask, you know, that you give me a subscribe. It kind of helps me out, but appreciate it regardless. That's probably going to be it for this right now, just because I'm just going to start fitting some of this stuff together. That'll probably be a different video, and I'm bad about making these anyway. If I don't stop now, this video will probably never get posted, and I'll end up getting this all done, and the next video will basically just be an apology. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here while I still have some of my sanity. Thank y'all.